Hello everybody, this is another video about my 84 Goldwing. This time it's about the speedometer. I replaced OEM speedometer with this, yeah, it's a Chinese one. But it came fairly cheap, about 50 bucks online. And generally was a fairly painless job to hook it up. There are some faults which I want to address right away, which is you can kind of see the glare to see the gauge is pretty bad in the sunlight. So I'll probably eventually end up making a visor for it to kind of lessen the glare on it. The other thing is also, right away I want to point out, there's these little spots here which as it comes online, it has these red lights in there and they respond to the throttle and or RPM rather, and they blink as the RPMs are rising, and that I found it extremely irritating, especially in when riding at night. So I had to do some work to eliminate those. But the rest of the gauge, like I said, it was fairly painless to hook it up. Right away you can see the miles per hour here. There's a mileage. You can see 355 miles since I replaced the gauge. Down here is a clock, which was one of the reasons I needed a clock on my bike. And actually this constantly keep resetting itself, so I guess you can say even I lost all purpose why I replaced this gauge. But besides that, there's a check engine light, which since this gauge did not come with a oil pressure light, I wired oil sensor, pressure sensor with a check engine light, so when I start the bike, check engine light will go off. Here's a fuel gauge, which I just got some gas fuel and it shows full. RPM reading is running down here, which is also straightforward hooking it up. Let's see, this side is a temperature sensor. That one required a 100 ohm resistor for it to, in order to show it correctly. Let me see if I can find a book or something. Hang it over so show it a little less glare on there. And again, there's a neutral light. In this area, which, let me turn the bike off and back on. You can see right there is a gear position sensor, and I am not sure if I can show it to you. You will not go in the 5th gear. But anyway, since my bike doesn't have a gear position sensor that shows each gear, it only has overdrive and neutral. Like you saw before, neutral is here. And when the bike is in overdrive, 5th gear will show in here. As far as the wiring, all the connections, quick connect is in the back. You can disconnect that, and the rest of the wiring went in the headlight assembly. It also comes with 2 magnets and 2 magnets and a Hall effect sensor. And I hooked up the speed sensor in the front on my front wheel, and here how I hooked up the magnet. So every time it passes the Hall effect sensor, it shows speed in the speedometer. Again, instructions are provided as to how to program that, because you have to program that with the tire size and so anyway, so some things about hooking up the gauges. These are my notes, how I did the measurements and hooked up. This was my, like you can see, I did a video earlier about this indicator lights. This was quite a failure, so I end up taking that off, which used to be here. These are temperatures from the manual of the OEM manual, and these are resistance according to the, also from the manual. These temperature resistance is provided in the cluster manual when you buy it. This whole paper should come with it, and these are resistance from there. Like I said, you would have to add an 100 ohm resistor for it to show correctly. Let's see, so here, another thing I wanted to draw attention to is that when you're hooking up the sensors and the lights, it's like turn signals and high and low, and you have to pay attention to the polarity because that engine sensors are activated by negative, which is to the cluster light is constant positive should be applied, and turn signals, like I said, turn signals and high and low beam is activated by positive polarity, which a constant negative should be applied to those sensors. This is the plug that is inside the headlight on the bike side. So these are like I put some voltages there, and there's some color coding, which all this is available on the manual. Again, neutral. This is a neutral gear. This is yellow white wire, goes to the 5th gear, which on my bike is overdrive. That's what I hooked up. And here it also says that the green white wire is a temperature signal. That's between the sensor and somewhere in here you're supposed to add an 100 ohm resistor. And now that's on 1984 GL12000 Goldwing. So I don't know how it is on your bike, but that's how I had to do it. And the rest of it here is, it tells you how to program your speed sensor, how to set your time, all those good things. So hopefully that helps you guys when you're buying this speedometer. I eventually planning to replace this with something more like making my own maybe, or finding something more expensive. Like there's $100 one that looks like a lot more better quality and it would work better, but this is what I could afford now. So thank you, bye.